So, ladies and gentlemen, the Karmelo Anthony trial is underway, and with the latest witness testimonies taking place and actual footage of the actual altercation being shown, this is destroying the reasoning that supporters of Anthony have been expressing that they feel validates Karmelo Anthony taking Austin Metcalf's life while screaming racism. As always, smash that thumbs up button. That's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content. To stay locked in with future videos, subscribe to the channel. And so let's start right here.
Calling it unjustified murder. So Karmelo Anthony is charged with murdering 17-year-old Austin Metcalf after admitting to stabbing him in the chest at a high school track meet last year. Police say the fight started because Anthony was under another team's tent and Metcalf told him to leave. Anthony's defense attorneys say he stabbed Metcalf, who was unarmed, out of fear as a group was, quote, turning on him. But prosecutors yesterday in court showed jurors surveillance footage they say tells a different story. The footage, it's grainy and shot from a distance, but reporters inside the courtroom tell us it shows a brief confrontation between Anthony and Metcalf, not a larger group, before Anthony runs from the scene. And that fight, it only lasted about 4 minutes or so. Jurors heard emotional testimony from Metcalf's track coach. He said that Metcalf was helping lead setup efforts that day, which basically means he was in charge of setting up the tent and equipment. The coach testified and said athletes don't just go under other teams' tents. This is something that's understood between the athletes. This case, it's drawn national attention with race becoming a major issue. The final jury does not include any black jurors. Prosecutors say this case has nothing to do with race and it should be decided on the facts. This trial is expected to last up to 2 weeks, Bill, and if he is convicted, Anthony faces up to life in prison.
Then to watch and we shall. Brooke Taylor, thank you.
There are online rumors that started at least by some in the Anthony camp that he was jumped by 4 guys and that his act was therefore in self-defense. And the video you're telling me does not support that allegation.
Not even in the least bit, Will, not even close. It was one-on-one. You can absolutely make out that there's 2 people that get into a scuffle. It's very, very short in duration. The contact between the 2 of them probably lasted less than 5 seconds. And as soon as the push went the other direction, which presumably is when he was stabbed, you can see everybody, completely scattered.
All right, so let's get into this because this is happening in North Texas. You guys know I moved from New Jersey to North Texas, and this is actually happening right in my backyard. Before I moved recently, I actually used to live right around the corner from this high school. And so I ran past, as far as getting my exercise on a daily, this school plenty of times. I've been by the track, all that kind of stuff. And so this is happening right in the backyard. I know where the courthouse is and all that kind of stuff. I don't live in that specific area right now. I still live in the general North Dallas area, just not that close to that school. So this is not looking good for Karmelo Anthony, nor the Karmelo Anthony supporters, who they want everybody to believe that it was necessary. He had to defend himself in this manner because he was being attacked essentially on multiple fronts. There were multiple people attacking him. He was one person by himself being attacked by a group of people. And so that was the danger he found himself in. That was imminent. That meant he was using the knife as a self-defense weapon. That's the logic that they've been arguing this entire time. If you are a Karmelo Anthony supporter, if you are Karmelo Anthony, that it was necessary for him to use the knife that he brought with him onto school property that he knew he had on him from the moment he decided to sit down under that tent.
Like we give a fuck about this shit. Well, we know what side y'all on already. We don't give a fuck about none of it. We already know y'all pick a side. We know what side y'all on when y'all got out the car. We know when y'all sat in the car and talked on the walkie-talkies. We already know what y'all got going on. Yeah, we already know y'all on the walkie-talkies. Hey, there they go again. There go Karmelo supporters. Call the jump out, boys. What are you calling? Hey, they right up again. Yeah, we already know y'all game. We know y'all tackling. The gig is up. The gig is up. The gig is up.
If you got jumped on 4 people, what would you do? Would you defend yourself? Would you defend yourself? If 4 people was attacking you, what would you do? What would you do? Would you defend yourself? I want to know.
No, you're acting like an animal.
But let's go ahead and get a little bit more of an update on some more independent journalists who were actually covering this story so we can get some better details than what we're just getting from the mainstream media. So listen to this. The judge told the media not to identify the current witness because he is a minor. The witness says Karmelo Anthony was asked at least 15 times to leave their tent. Anthony refused to leave. The teen says no one ganged up on Karmelo. Witness adds that Karmelo was provoking Austin. Witness says Austin Metcalf pushed Karmelo, but it wasn't a hard push. That's when Karmelo pulled the knife from his book bag and stabbed Austin. He has Karmelo toss the weapon and ran off. The 911 call placed by the witness was played then. And so listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Big update. Another unidentified teammate is testifying. For context, this teen is black. The teen was sitting next to Karmelo Anthony when Austin Metcalf shoved him. He said Austin's shove was so light that Karmelo did not touch him. And they were sitting next to each other. And so basically, this is the testimony that she's saying this teen is telling the jury, that he was sitting right next to Karmelo Anthony when Austin shoved Karmelo, and the force that Austin used to shove Karmelo wasn't enough for him to even be touched by Karmelo, and he was sitting right next to him. And so that kind of at least paints a picture for you to understand how hard of a push it was if you're sitting right next to somebody and somebody pushes that person, and the push doesn't even generate enough force where you get touched by the person who was pushed. That's what he's explaining. When Karmelo reached into his book bag, Austin allegedly said, "This is Frisco. You don't have anything in there." The teen adds that he believed Karmelo was looking to pick a fight, not Austin. And so all of the Karmelo Anthony supporters who wanted to believe that this was somehow self-defense because he was being attacked by multiple people, that he was out here and had no choice but to pull out a weapon because he had to defend himself against this group who was attacking him, and he felt in true imminent danger for his life to use the weapon that he brought onto school property. These testimonies clearly don't support that argument. Nonetheless, you still have the Karmelo Anthony supporters outside of the Texas courtroom, and they're going with their narrative. Take a listen.
He was not an aggressor. Karmelo was not an aggressor. He was minding his damn business when the boys came up to him. We need to crowd. We need to agree.
If evidence does come out that Karmelo was not in fact fighting for his life when he stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf, do you think that the black community will accept that?
If evidence shows that he did not, no, we're going to stand by ours regardless. They stand by theirs. We're going to stand by ours regardless. I'm a mother first. I'm a black mother. Let me put that on there. I'm an African-American mother. So I have to put away my color first and step into the motherhood. Nobody wants to see their child slain. So I do want to send prayers to Austin Metcalf, their family. But at the end of the day, I got to think like, okay, what did you do to him or whatever to cause this to happen, the reaction? We got to start taking accountability for our kids. Because then again, if my kid, that's why it's a catch-22, if my kid was Karmelo and I feel like his back was up against the wall, well, I'm going to tell you straight up, better mine than yours.
And so understand what you're listening to right there. This is someone who's admitting they do not care about anything when it comes to the facts, anything when it comes to the truth, anything when it comes to the actual law. None of that matters. Only thing that matters is he's black. The person who he did something to is white. Therefore, I don't care what it was. He should not be guilty. I wish black people had this type of smoke when it's black on black violence. It's funny how when this happens, I told you guys, this is North Texas. Funny how when this type of thing happens 30 minutes south, you go down to Dallas. Where's all the smoke at for the boys who out there, the teenage boys, but they just happen to both look like each other, both black? Where's all the smoke at for when they're doing this to each other, when they're taking each other's lives? Same reason that Karmelo took this young man's life, because they're two young men who didn't like each other, who had disagreement, and one of them decided that this is how they're going to handle that disagreement. That happens every day in inner city, Chicago, Miami, New York, you name it. lot of inner cities where this goes down. And rarely do I ever see the black community up in arms. He shouldn't, this young black boy shouldn't go to jail for killing this other young black boy. It's not fair. Oh, no. I mean, could it be that the black community doesn't really, one, either value other black lives as much as that they want everyone to believe? Because I see no uproar, I see no protests when it's a young black boy taking another young black boy's life. So it's okay to, one, take that boy's life, then it's okay to lock that other boy up. That's fine. We don't really care about our young men like that. But he killed a white boy, he killed a white kid. Let him off.
Better mind than yours. So either way it go, everybody loses. A black boy allegedly murdered, and I say allegedly, heavy on the allegedly murdered somebody. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, this is about race. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't give a damn.
Who wouldn't give a damn?
Let me say this. Let's say the community.
So like if Karmelo Anthony was the one stabbed and killed by Austin Metcalf,
they wouldn't give a damn.
And if it was two young black boys who were out here committing violent acts against each other, the black community would chalk it up to just another day in the neighborhood. And we know this because it literally happens every day. No protests, no standing out front of the courthouse. Just another day in the neighborhood. But let's continue.
I come out here every Thursday and we pray for people going to court because we know this is the final frontier of racism and it's legalized here.
It was announced yesterday that there's no black jurors that were chosen. What are your thoughts on that?
That's why we need God. That's why we need God, and that's why he's going to show who's in control.
And would you be open to giving us your personal insights into the Karmelo Anthony trial and what your thoughts are on it?
I just want justice done. You know, we know nobody go to a track meet to murder anybody, okay? Come on. That's an accident, self-defense, that's what it was.
First off, let's say that teenagers don't make the smartest decisions. That's number one. I think we can say that perhaps he wasn't thinking far enough ahead to say, hey, I'm going to murder this kid. I don't know what was in his head, but being a teenager, maybe he wasn't thinking that, okay, I'm using this knife today and I'm going to take someone's life. That wasn't maybe his thinking. But when you bring a knife onto school property and then you look to escalate a situation, at least according to all the witness testimony that I share with you guys and that's come out so far, when you look to then escalate a situation so that way then you have a reason to use that weapon that you know you brought with you, while maybe you didn't think that you were going to end up murdering somebody, you did have the intent perhaps that you wanted to be violent in a way that you got a message across. I mean, unfortunately, that resulted in the loss of life. And so it's going to be very hard if this testimonies from these witnesses keep on coming in to argue self-defense when everyone else who was there saying, no, this was a one-on-one situation and it wasn't, something where everyone was attacking him. It was a push and he pulled out a knife and stabbed him.
I'm not saying the kid should get off free, but first-degree murder? Come on. Basically, he's facing the wrong charge for the crime that was committed.
Do you think Karmelo is innocent? Do you feel like it's been an unfair response to what happened to Karmelo Anthony?
I feel that the justice system always over-respond when it comes to us. So definitely, I mean, you look at the charge. It was self-defense. He was wrestling with two guys. I don't know what the parameters of it, but it was two people. So, 2 against 1, that's self-defense.
And so listen, I get why the supporters like this guy are defending Karmelo Anthony if they truly believe that he was getting attacked by multiple people. They're basically saying he was getting jumped. He was getting jumped by more than one person. It was not a fair fight. They had him on the ground. He was in a position where he felt like he was in imminent danger and he had to defend himself because he did not know how that situation would end. And so it was either him or them, and he chose himself. But I mean, right now, that's not what any of the testimony, the evidence, or anything we've heard is saying. That or is not. Now, if something ends up coming out that opposes what we've heard so far, then that story could change. But right now, it seems to be the exact opposite. It seems to be a case where this guy, this young man, came in to a situation looking to escalate, looking to create an environment where he could then be validated, in his mind at least, to being able to use this weapon. Because of everything, obviously, that transpired between these two young men before this day even arrived, that I'm sure we'll probably never know everything about, but led up to this point where he felt like he needed to bring a knife to a track meet on school property.
Only good cracker is a dead cracker. 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 Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
Yeah, so when you get a situation like this, you're going to have this element come out. The people who want to stoke the flames that divide us, that's going to come out. I don't have respect for people like this because it's performative. It's fake. And it only comes out when it's convenient and fits the narrative. I said it before and I'll say it again as I close out and leave it here. Where's the energy from these people, from the black community that's so outraged when we do this to each other every day of the week in the black community? Our black boys are killing each other, and we treat it like it's business as usual. No outrage, no uproar, no picket signs and marching down in front of the courthouse. Just Big Mama crying and Ray Ray, they put him on a t-shirt. But those are my thoughts of the update, and I want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. As always, if you enjoy the content, smash that thumbs up. For more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.